series that will market globally. And in that way, we're going to be demonstrating to them that we are very good and we are the ideal people to partner with when it comes to technology development. One thing that can then begin to sink in our minds at this stage is that a new set of skills is required over and above what we are discussing today that we are short of. We don't have enough from what we used to do in the past. But from what we are proposing to do in the future as well, we need more skills. Now, we need to improve a lot in communicating our work in water research or as the water sector and media relations. I won't go deep into this, but water is a very, very sensitive issue, and we need the people who write and talk about water, to really be able to handle this matter with responsibility. We are starting a program now of training water journalists. And, because we need to go deeper than that. There's time to sensationalize things, but really, behind it, there has to be a way of making sure that we can engage with society in a meaningful way. Because there are no substitutes for water, and we all know that. Without water, nothing else matters, that I can say. So, there is going to be involvement even of students studying communication and journalism in our projects. Because the way we want to start reporting may be different from the formal way of working and waiting for a technical report and publish that report and then send it out. As information is generated in the project, we need to package it as quickly as possible and release it. If we involve journalists and communication students in the project and we give them bursaries to be involved there to study communication and journalism, that's fine, but they are also part of a project, then we are able to develop those skills and we are able to build people who are able to communicate communicate well water issues to the public. And we call that program Inspiring Water Conversations. We will be doing such things. That gives you an example. Now, I'm not sure whether I've taken too much time, but I'm sure I'm about to close. I'm still okay for time. Okay, thank you. What I also have been talking about is the fact that, when you look at any challenge, as we move through time, the current technologies that we have will assist us, will help us till a certain level, after which we need a different set of technologies to deal with issues. Let me give you an example, and you might not see it as relevant now, but the issue about our sanitation system, that we have to take very, very clean water and use that clean water to flush out our waste from our houses at a very big cost in terms of infrastructure. And when you think about it, honestly, it's not sustainable. It's not going to take us into the future. It is not the technology of the future. We have to see and think differently. And to think differently will also require a different set of skills, not just the water sector people. I'm a water sector person, so I've thought of sanitation in this particular way, and if you tell me there's another way, I may struggle a little bit. But there has to be another way. So what I'm saying in this diagram there at the top is that the current technology will take us until a certain level. And up to that point, they won't help us anymore. So we need to build up, we need to bring on board new emerging technologies to take us into the future. Now, I've highlighted a few sentences here to say the challenges faced by the water sector opens up numerous opportunities to innovate and deploy new technologies. We need now to develop more IT people to play in the water sector, developing new technologies. And many, many other skills, including social science skills and all that. There is a lot more that we need to be doing. As a sector, we've barely tapped the potential those technologies offer. In the space where we have worked on a number of technologies, but they have not moved to the space where they should have moved. I mean, if you think about it, I think the cell phone, I'm estimating here, people may know better. There should be at least 500 patents that are used in order to develop and make this technology that fits in my pocket. That's an active area where a person comes up with an idea, the industry is ready to take it up and improve the service. The next cell phone will do much, much more than the current one. That's basically what I'm trying to say. We need a water sector that is as dynamic as that. And for us to do that, like the cell phone industry, it's not only the communication engineers that have to be involved. In the cell phone, if you can look at who has developed these technologies, it's not just communication engineers. It's all sorts of professionals come with their ideas, and the industry absorbs them and improves the service. We need that in the water sector. Various hurdles currently inhibit the development, testing, adoption, and diffusion of new water technologies. Because doing research is quite interesting. There's a lot of people in the sector that are involved in R&D. But this issue of testing and development to a market scale is very expensive and very risky. Because not all technologies will reach that, no matter how promising they look at first. So that's why that issue is one of the biggest hurdles that we face as a water sector. The fourth point I've raised there, addressing the coming challenges will require new approaches, new strategies to increase innovation and speed up the deployment of new technologies and new skills in the water sector. That's why we're here this morning, to brainstorm and talk about this, because that's the other big limitation that we shall have. We need more skills, we need more professions, we need other people who are doing other things to shift their focus and come and apply what they know in solving water challenges. Just to highlight what I've already mentioned, that for us to do this, the biggest driver is partnerships. We have established a division within the Water Resources Commission that is developing the partnerships. Come, let's work together. In those partnerships, when we initially started, for example, we made calls for people to submit their innovative ideas. We received 101 submissions. And we've evaluated them. I think we're down to about 40, if I'm not mistaken. And to take them further, we need partnerships. No single person can do that. It can be very risky. And just to emphasize this point on partnerships, I think most of you, if not all, have seen this diagram. It's not really new, whereby they illustrate that to say, if you've got these two donkeys and each one of them have got a pile of food in front of them, but there's a resource constraint. That rope is not allowing them to each enjoy the meal. Now they can pull and fight over this thing, and if they do that, they'll end up hungry and no one will succeed. But if they sit down and agree on a partnership and say, look, let's eat your pile first, and then we'll come back to my pile, both of them will be satisfied in the end. That's our thinking in terms of partnerships. People coming together and say, let's share the risk. Let's share the risk. And when the benefit comes, it's a mutual benefit. Thank you.